Hey, welcome to this episode of Say It Anyway. This episode is about normalizing risky behavior. You know the phrase, when Trump got elected, people would say never normalize, And I think that's good to remember because some of the insane things that happen, that overreach, the overreach of power and, the worry of nepotism and foreign intrusion in our elections and things, we shouldn't normalize. We should not normalize. And the reason why people said not to normalize is because then it doesn't concern us as much and it becomes something we see as everyday and not a big deal and the way it should be. The biggest issue becomes the way we think things should be. And I realized that even in my life, there's been some crazy things that have become normalized. I mean, to me, it's normal to not know where I'm going to sleep most nights of the week. And then last minute, find a hotel and sleep there. And not know which city I'm in and have a different rental car or this car or, that's become normal to me. And that, I don't know if that's a bad thing because it makes me doing my job and touring easier, but there's some other things that started to normalize for me, and I think maybe that's why I've made some changes. Being in Los Angeles, there are some behaviors that people do that may be risky, that may be illegal, or that may be, just really emotionally draining. Going out all the time, staying out really late, comparing yourself all the time, questioning yourself all the time, going to extreme lengths, people that do, there's a lot of drug use out there. And after a while of being out there, it just seemed normal to me. It started to seem really normal. And that helps people navigate living in that world or any world when it becomes normalized. But we have to stop and think about if that's good for our lives. There's a lot of times people live in chaos and it just becomes normal. We adjust no matter what. And the reason why normalization is kind of scary is because once you find something potentially exciting, okay, something brand new, like if you hook up with somebody and you've never really done that and it's somebody random, or you try drugs or something and you do something and it's exciting, if those behaviors continue in the same way, that will lead to normalization. And it'll lead to normalization of that sort of stimulus in your mind and in your body. So the reason why this could be an issue is because then if your goal is to try to feel again like that first time, or if it's to try to feel a big difference or a jolt, then you're going to be continually upping what you do. For me, first couple times I was on stage, it was like, it was crazy to me. It didn't even make sense to have people clap. And I was just like high through the roof, cause I did a thing and the eyes were on me and it worked out okay. And I've really normalized speaking in front of people and I've normalized performing in front of people. But in the same regard, it's not as exciting getting applause. Now, see, when it's been a break or it's been a little while, it is very exciting. And I'm like, oh, I remember this. But I even have that little bit of a challenge of trying to be okay with not having that in my life during certain periods of time. So for me, thinking about how I'm just a normal person and recognizing that I'm not as special as I pretend to be, or I'm not different from other people, I get claps and maybe I do a job very well, but I'm not any different. And I reminding myself of that for the last year or two has really, I think, helped me be okay when I'm not having that normalization. But there's just a come down. There's a come down from the things that we normalize. So if you recognize in your life that your behaviors are becoming very risky, or you're around other people that are doing risky things, or you are upping what you have to do to feel more okay or excited, maybe then it's time to take a break. Take a break from it. Reset. Go back to enjoying some smaller things. I was power washing my parents' concrete. Okay? That was actually kind of fun after I got into it. You know? I gotta recognize that difference of normalization. And then anyway, the whole reason for any of this is I don't want you to feel stuck. I don't want you to feel like you have to keep chasing after a thing. I want us to recognize when our lives have maybe gotten a little out of control, or going down a direction that we may not have thought we were going to go down. Don't normalize crazy things that happen potentially from a narcissistic president, but also let's make sure that we don't normalize chaos and trauma in our lives. Even if something has happened for a while, it doesn't mean it deserves to continue to happen, and it doesn't mean that you deserve to keep having it in your life. Okay? All right. Love you.